Hey everybody, Travis Flaherty here, and I am excited to be here with you tonight. You know, I just got some news from Lisa and Curtis. They are always traveling all over the world. They are two of the busiest entrepreneurs, consultants, mentors in the entire world when it comes to network marketing. And today they had a situation come up where they couldn't get back to a computer or to a Wi-Fi signal on time. And so you and I get to spend a little bit of time together, and I'm excited about that. You know, tonight I'm just gonna freestyle a little bit. And, you know, I was, a couple of hours ago, I was looking for a picture to put up on Throwback Thursday. And I started looking through some of these pictures of when our career first started, several years back. And you know, after working very hard for a couple of years, Summer and I really weren't making a lot of money. We were struggling. In fact, I'm going to share a funny story with you. We had a little bit of money coming in, and I had a situation where I was outside and I fell into a window well and broke my knee. And I didn't just break my knee. I mean, I broke it into like 5 different pieces. You know, I did a number on it. I severed the tendon between that came across the knee, and it was a pretty serious and severe injury. There was a point where they said I might have to walk with a cane the rest of my life. And you know, here I was. I'm about 30 years old, and you know, I love to play sports. And all of a sudden, I'm being told that I'll never be able to run again. I'll never be able to squat again. And I'll tell you that. You know, that situation also put us in a lot of debt. It put us in a situation where I couldn't go to work. And, you know, things were really, really tough for us. And if we didn't have that income coming in that we had created, which, by the way, I mean, we're talking at that point in time in our career after maybe 2 years of working really hard, we were maybe making $2,000 a month steadily. You know, I might have had a couple of good months where they were enrollment months, and you know, I hit 4,000 or 5,000, but you know, then the next month it'd be right back down again. And you know, it's interesting because in my observation now over the last 8 or 9 years, I've watched so many people give up either before they get to that point or right there at that point. And to fast forward the story a little bit, you know, I had just gotten off of the machine, the little machine that would go up and down and it would make your knee move constantly so that it wouldn't get, you know, frozen up and you would still have mobility. And, you know, it was the first time I had gotten my brace off, and I was supposed to be walking with a crutch, but, you know, I didn't want to because I had an in-home presentation. It was a getting started training for one of my neighbors. And we went and, you know, we were doing the presentation, and when we were done, we were saying our goodbyes. And I kid you not, their Rottweiler, who was a 3-legged Rottweiler, you can't make this stuff up, attacked me and broke my knee again. And that was 6 months in. And I just remember laying there on the ground thinking, I'm never going to be able to walk again. My business was not doing that well. We were struggling. We were still fumbling, you know, juggling bills and bill collectors and all of these things. And you know, that was probably 2007, 2008. And I kid you not, I was looking at these pictures today, and it wasn't but maybe 6 to 12 months after that point where things just started to take off for us. You know, it just started to click. You know, and we had put in, I don't know, 40, 50 people into the business by that point of our career. And you know, there were times where 3, 6 months down the road after having great months of recruiting where we would look back and we would have absolutely nobody left in our business. And it was the most, I don't even know how to describe it. I just remember that most hopeless, helpless, discouraging feeling to be in a position where you'd put all these people into the business. And then all of a sudden, you know, nobody's doing anything. And, you know, you've sponsored 20, 30, 40 people and nobody's on auto shipment. And so I found this picture today, and it wasn't, you know, I think I'm even still possibly wearing a brace in this picture, but it wasn't too long after that where all of a sudden it just started to click. We partner with the right individuals that they got it, and they started going out and they started building the business. And they got excited, and they got their friends excited, and our team started to grow first across the country. And we started to experience a little bit of that momentum, and our checks slowly started to come up. And then another year went by, and all of a sudden we started to gain a little bit of notoriety in the industry. And truthfully, it wasn't anything that we were doing. It was just the fact that we surrounded ourselves with the right people. And it was about that point in time where Summer and I made a very pivotal decision in our career. We made the decision that we were going to start raising the bar on the people that we allowed into our life. That was the number one decision. And we were going to start actively seeking out mentors that had what we wanted in life. And some of them weren't even in our company. It didn't matter. We started going to, the events like the A&MP. We started going to the MLM cruise. We started attending these events, and we started developing relationships, and we started emulating what others were doing. And, slowly but surely, things just kept going and kept growing, and it just didn't stop. And I look back, at that picture that I posted today, and it really was such a pivotal point in our career, because I was ready to quit. I was ready to give up. Breaking my leg twice, we're making a few $1,000s, we can't pay our bills, we've been working this thing for several years, nobody's left on auto shipment, and we just couldn't catch a break. And I share that for some of you that are here tonight, because I'm guessing that some of you might be able to relate with me. Some of you might be able to understand that feeling of discouragement of, man, I brought in so many people and I had this great team going, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. But I want you to know something. I want you to know, I'm going to make a promise to you tonight. I'm going to promise you that you will not fail. You will not fail with us. That's my promise to you. There's only one way, in fact, that you can fail, and that is if you quit. Now, I'm going to start out with a story tonight, and then we're going to get into a little bit of training. But, I had a mentor around this time, as a matter of fact, that I would go and see, and I'd go into his home, and I still remember coming into his house in Provo, Utah. And we wanted it so bad, you guys. We were like the poster child for the company. We're driving cars that were wrapped, and we were just so sold, on freedom and what this industry could do for our life. And I remember going into the Provo River Bottoms, and we go to this beautiful home, and we go into this guy's house, and it was first of all, the office was a mess. I remember the office being a total mess, and I remember seeing checks like on his desk, and checks that were all over the floor under his desk, and checks that hadn't even been opened yet. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. I can't even pay my electric bill, and this guy has residual checks that he hasn't even opened. And I said something. He says, yeah, they just keep coming. I haven't had a chance to even cash them yet, because things have just been so crazy since we first launched this thing. And I just thought, man, I just want to be in that position. And I told him I was really frustrated, and I told him that, look, I could be making way more than I'm making right now. We have people that have approached us in other fields that are approaching me about sales opportunities, and there's things that I could go and do that would pay me a lot more money. But I want to declare that financial freedom day. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do rather than the things that I have to do. And he told me this story. He says, Travis, there was a time where I had built a company in the network marketing industry on the corporate side, and we did very well, and we made a lot of money. And he said, and I decided to sell my interest in that company, and I decided to go prove to myself that I could go build a network marketing business. It's the only thing that I had witnessed this industry change so many people's lives. And for me, it wasn't about the money. I'd already made the money, but for me, it was about going out and proving to myself that I could do it. It was about going out and changing other people's lives. And so my plan was to go from city to city on tour and promote that I was coming into these cities before I got there. And a bunch of people would come to see me, and I would do these presentations, and people would sign up into my business, and I was going to go on tour, and that was my plan. And so, I called my cousin up, and I said, listen, this is my plan. I'm gonna go build as a distributor in the field. I'm gonna start just like everybody else, and we're gonna go make this thing happen. And so the analogy that he gave me is, he says, I want you to picture a football stadium, not just an NFL stadium, but like a college stadium, the big house, right, in Michigan, 105,000 seats. And he said, I want you to picture me and just my cousin sitting in that stadium, and the entire stadium being quiet and silent and nobody in there. He says, that's how it was when we first started. And he says, so I go to the first town, the first city, we do, newspaper advertisements, and we promote, and we go in, and I show up, and there's nobody there. And he's like, well, something must have gone wrong. There must have been a mistake. Something must have happened. And so then they go on to the next city, and there's like 2 people there. And the next city, 1 person. Next city, nobody. And he continues to do this for several months. And, now they're getting really discouraged. Their plan's not working. And the cousin says, hey, listen, I can't do this anymore. This isn't working. I can make so much more money. Man, I can make more money at McDonald's than I could make here. I love your vision, but I can't do this. And so he quit. He gave up. And so this mentor that I had was coming back through on his way back to Utah, and he stopped in Texas where his mom happened to live. And his mom was living in an elderly facility and a community. And so he comes in, and he's got his head down, and he's dragging, right? He's just like, man, he comes in the door, and she says, what's wrong, honey? And he says, it's just not working. Things aren't working for me. I thought I'd be able to go out, and I know so much about this industry, and I know what I know. I wish I could take it and put it into other people's minds because it would change their life. And he says, but nobody will listen. And she says, go, you know what? Just go in the back, take a nap. It always makes you feel better, and I'll make you a sandwich, and when you get up, you'll have some food. So he wakes up, and he walks out, and he rubs his eyes, and he opens them, and there's 20 silver-haired ladies staring at him. 20 silver-haired ladies staring at him, and he's like, what's this, Mom? And she's like, oh, I went out and I gathered some of my friends. They're here to hear you speak. And he gets excited, and he goes and he grabs his presentation book, a little flip chart, and he stands in front of the room, and he starts just talking about the company. Hey, the company started on this date, and these are the owners, and these are the products. And about halfway through, his mom walks up to him, she taps him on the shoulder, and she whispers this in his ear. She says, just tell them what you told me. Stop selling these people. They're here to hear your heart. Just speak from the heart. Put your presentation down and tell them why you're doing this. And so he puts his presentation down, and he says, listen, I don't need the money. I'm here because people are suffering. All of us in this room know somebody that's going to go to bed tonight saying a prayer, asking for solutions. Now, you guys may not be looking for an opportunity, but the world is, and I have it, and I can't get anyone to listen to me, but I want to go out and make a difference. And, they all ordered whatever his product was, just to be friendly to the mother. But here's the thing, it was just that was just enough. That encouragement and those people listening and smiling, that one moment was enough for him to keep going. So fast forward a little bit. So little by little, he starts to get 2 people into a room, 5 people into a room, and he starts to bring a few people into the business that start to align with the same vision. 2 years later, he says, Travis, we invited somebody who invited somebody who invited somebody who introduced me to somebody over in another country. And he said, and in a period of 2 years later, I had enough people in my downline to fill the entire big house, over 100,000 people in my downline. And he said, had my cousin just stayed in his seat, not even done anything, just stayed in his seat because of where he was positioned and the compensation structure, he would be making over 6 figures a month, but he got out of his seat. So I share that story with you because no matter where you're at, I want you to know that success is just around the corner. And I've been there. I think that sometimes people forget, when they look at the leaders that perhaps are on stage or they're doing a training, and they think they don't understand. It's so easy for them to build. People know who they are, and people just join their businesses. I want you to know that those people, they put in the blood and the sweat and the tears and the time and the effort and the energy. But you know what? It was so worth it. And we're entrepreneurs. We live by the sword and die by the sword. And I want you guys to know that in the last 7 years since I posted that picture, my life hasn't been perfect. I've had a lot of challenges. We've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs in this industry. A lot of moments where Summer and I have been in tears together, literally, and saying, praying, asking for guidance and support and help to know that we're on the right path. But here we are. And I want you to know that it's so worth it. It's worth it because I woke up today and my little 3-year-old came in and says, Daddy, will you come in here and wake me up and give me a kiss? When I was sitting out on the table checking my emails this morning. That's why we do this. You know, I went and picked up, or I took my children to school this morning. You know, I was able to take my girls to school and come back and get my son and have a conversation with him. And I took him to school and came back. I was home when they got home from school today. Summer and I went and had an exercise workout middle of the afternoon this afternoon. That's what it's about. It's about freedom. It's about decisions. That's why we do this. Certainly having nice things is fine, but it's not about that. It's about having more options in your life. And so I want to ask you guys a question. Why are you here? Why? And it can't just be, I want the night, I want to be rich, I want to be cars, I want watches. No, it's got to be deeper than that. You've got to have a burning white hot desire. I'm talking about deep down, a why that'll make you cry. Let me give you an example. I remember several years back, I had somebody who, I was going through a town and we were talking about why. And I was asking different people why they're here. And this gentleman shares with me, he says, I did everything right that I was supposed to do. I saved all the money that I was supposed to save through my entire life, built up my 401k, only to have the market collapsed and we lost everything. And a couple of years before we lost everything, I was able to build my house, the dream house that my wife and I always wanted. It was a house that was out in a meadow, and it had a wraparound porch, and it wasn't much, but to us it was everything. It was what we always wanted, and I was able to fulfill our dream, and we lost everything. And when we lost everything, he said, at this point in time, my health was starting to suffer, and I couldn't go back to work. And so my wife, who is now in her 60s, has had to go back to work, and we're struggling. We had to sell that house, and we live in an apartment. And with tears in his eyes, he looked at me and he says, Travis, I just want to bring my wife home. I want to get that house back more than anything in the world. That, you guys, is a why. Why are you here? What is going to keep you going forward? Jordan Adler talks about in the book Beach Money, where there was a point in time where he was so frustrated, and he'd been through like 6 companies. It's quite funny, the story actually. And he was just like, gosh, I've got to make this happen. And he goes up to the Grand Canyon. He'd never been there before. He lived here in Arizona, and he just sat down under a tree and he started writing down his why. And it started raining, and he remembers going into this lodge and curling up next to a fire, and he remembers seeing the words kind of blurred a little bit, but he kept writing his why and why he wanted this so bad, and he still has that journal today. And you know what? He read that every single day. And now Jordan has earned over $15 million in network marketing, and he earns about $200,000+ a month. And he's one of my heroes in this industry. So why are you here? You've got to get in touch with that. And I want to encourage you to take some time and really explore that. Dig a little deeper than just, hey, I'm dipping my toe in the water here. I'm trying this out to see if it works. My friends told me that this is possibly a good opportunity, because I want you to hear this from me. Okay, I am so sick of the posers and the jokers that are out there that make this out to be easy, because it's not easy. Network marketing is not get rich quick, but it is get rich possible. Network marketing is not get rich quick, but it is get rich possible. There's nothing easy in life that's worth having, you guys. I'm telling you that right now. It requires hard work, smart work, dedication, commitment, perseverance, consistency. You've got to have some thick skin. Because the people that are around you are going to ridicule you. They're going to laugh at you for thinking that you can be successful. My friends did. All of my high school buddies. I don't talk with any of them anymore. I've got one that lives in the same neighborhood right around the corner from me. We wave at each other every now and then. We hung out back in high school. And you know what? When I got involved in this, they were, Travis is doing Amway now, and he's selling lotion and pills and potions and blah, 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 blah. And I would hear whispers as they were at parties, and they would talk about me. But you know what? I was committed to my family. I was relentless in my pursuit of financial freedom. I didn't care what they said, because I could tell you what bar they were going to be at a Thursday night or Friday night or Saturday night. That wasn't what I wanted in my life. And you know what's funny now? All of them, every one of them, at one point or another in their life, when it's been crumbling and when things aren't going well, have called me saying, can you help me? And the challenge is no, I can't help you when your situation is at the point where it is so bleak, because I can't turn it on overnight. It's going to take time. But what you should have been doing is building this up over a period of time so that if something happened, like it did to us, you had a safety net and eventually a financial future. You know, they come in and say, I just lost my $10,000 job. You know, can you help me make that tomorrow? Well, it's happened before. It's been done before, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. And so, you know, why are you here? You've got to really deep find that. Once you know why you're here, I don't know where my napkin went. I had a little napkin. There it is. Once you know why you're here, you got to know where you're going. Where are you headed right now? I want you to take a look at your life right now. This is you. Okay? Some of you might be super happy with life. Some of you might not be that happy. Maybe you're kind of, by the way, I'm not an artist. Maybe this is you. You know, you're just kind of, you know, things are okay. You like your job? Pays the bills. You know, you kind of get your next paycheck but you want more, right? So here's the thing. All of you are on a path right now. You're all on this path. Paths may be different. Here's the destination. Where you are right now in your life, everything, where you are right now is based on decisions that you've made up to this point. And you have to, first of all, to be truly free, you have to accept that. That was hard for me to do. It's easy to be like, you know, this company did this and they did this to me and this person did this and gosh, had this person not screwed me and gosh, they didn't refund my, no. You're where you are because of choices that you have made. We are a product of our environment, period, good or bad. But the good news is that this path can be changed at any time based on a decision that you make right here and right now. So my question to you is, based on where you're living right now, what you're currently doing, your actions every day, the commitment level that you're putting into this business, you know, whatever else it is that you work on every day, what you're doing today, is it going to lead you to the promised land? Is it going to allow you to have everything that you want in life? And if not, then something has to change, period. Something has to give. Something has to change. You'll never change your life until you change something that you do daily, period. It comes down to daily activities, daily actions, your daily method of operation. How many people are you talking to? How many people are you sharing plans with? How many people are you following up with? How many people are you doing three-way calls with? How many of you promoted this tonight? I guarantee you some of you are saying, man, I wish I had more of my team members on this tonight. How hard did you work to promote this tonight? Because you know what? Professionals, that's what we do. Professionals. They take accountability. They have a list, daily method of operation, actions, income-producing activities. And you know what? Sitting on Facebook, posting, trying to get likes is not one of them, believe it or not. Now, some internet marketers might disagree, but it's not duplicatable. The reality is you have to do the work. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what you're doing right now, you've got to know where you're going, right? Because if you don't define where you're going, how in the world are you going to get there? You wouldn't wake up in the morning, grab your car keys, get in the car, and just start driving without knowing where you're headed. So why would you live your life that way? That's how most people live their lives. They have no plan for the future. It's one of my favorite questions to ask people. Do you have a plan to give you everything you want in life? No. Would you like to take a look at one? Are you happy? Do you have a plan in place to give you everything that you want in life? If not, would you like to take a look at one? Are you happy? Do you have a plan in place to give you everything you want in life? And if not, would you like to take a look at one? That's it. Over and over and over again. How long have you worked here? Do you enjoy what you do? Are you happy? Do they pay you what you're worth? Do you have a plan in place to give you everything you want in life? What are those things? What would your ideal situation be? If you didn't have to work here, what would you do? Where would you go? If I could show you a plan that could help you accomplish those things, would you be willing to take a look at it and let me know what you think? My point is your actions have to add up to where it is that you want to go. But if you don't know what that is, if you don't know where you want to go specifically, I'm talking about, you know, that for you to be able to declare your financial freedom day, the day that you no longer have to trade your time for dollars, you can do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. If you don't know how much money that you need to be able to do that, to be able to pay off debt, be able to pay your bills, and to be able to donate to whatever charity it is that you want to donate, live the quality of life that you want to live, doesn't mean rich, just means whatever quality of life that you want to live. If you don't know what that looks like clearly, you don't have a clear vision of that, then you're not going to accomplish it, period. You know, you take a boat, right, and it leaves harbor, and it starts going, and it starts going, and it starts going. All you have to do is just make a few adjustments, and you know what? It'll change the course entirely. You've got to make some adjustments if you really want to declare that financial freedom day. 2009, January 1st, 2009, Summer and I, no, it's 2008, January 1st, 2008. Summer and I are frustrated. Just broke my knees. Things aren't so good. Gaining a little, having an okay time in my business. And we sit down with the family and we do a dream session, put together a vision board. And we go around the table and we ask, what do you guys want to do this year? What do you want to accomplish? All my children at one time, Disneyland, Daddy, I want to go to Disneyland. We've never been to Disneyland. Why? Because I couldn't afford it. So they wanted to go to Disneyland. The girls were all dressing in different pink, blue outfits. The Disney princesses, and my son loved, Mickey Mouse. He was all about Disneyland. And I remember thinking, the more that they said those things, I actually felt pressure because I knew, gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do these things. And then Summer comes out and she says, I want to build a house. I want to build our own house. I'm tired of living in other people's houses that other people built. I want to build a dream house, and I want it to be a Tuscan dream, a Tuscan themed house. And, I know exactly what I want it to look like. I want it to have a turret out front. I want it to have a courtyard in the middle of the house. And I want to be able to just design it and build it from the ground floor up. And I'm thinking to myself, woo, good dream, but go ahead and put it on there. So she goes and finds some pictures and she puts it on there. And all I ever wanted was, I wanted a houseboat. I wanted to have a share in a houseboat on Lake Powell. Lake Powell is one of my favorite places on earth. And I wanted to have a houseboat. Usually they have 1/8 ownership. They're 4-bedroom houseboats. You go down there for a week and it's the best place on the planet. And, so I remember going through that exercise, and we had an office downstairs. And I remember having that up in my downstairs office. Fast forward a couple of years, we're standing in a garage, and we're sitting here unloading boxes. And all of a sudden, I come across this folded up poster board. And I unfold this poster board, and I look at it, and I literally am standing in the garage, and I just start crying. And Summer comes out. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Look at this." And she comes up. She's like, "Oh my gosh." And here we are standing in this new home that we just built. In fact, on my wall that I posted today, I think there's a picture of us. My kids are standing on the car, that we wanted at the time, the car of our dreams at the time. And then we had you can see the home behind it. And a photographer had just come because they were documenting our story because it had just been highlighted in Business for Home or something. And in my driveway was this brand new boat that I just bought, and we had just closed on a houseboat share in Lake Powell, and we just got back from Disneyland for the 3rd time. Guys, if you know what you want in life and you define it specifically, I'm telling you, you can obtain anything and everything. It's just the law of attraction. So you got to know where you're headed. I want you guys to think a little bit about that. And then the last thing is you just got to know who you're going to take with you. Who's going to go with you on this journey? We're getting ready to do something pretty big here. We're getting ready to launch our new movement of Jeunesse. And many of you are already in your minds, many of you are already limiting who you're going to take with you. I hate the lighting in this room. Sorry, I keep kind of messing around a little bit because the lighting drives me nuts. There we go. I have to kind of stand still here. So many of you are already limiting in your mind who you think would go along this journey with you. And here's what it sounds like mentally. I've already invited them. I've already gotten no's from them. They've already told me no to the previous opportunities. They did that other thing with me 6 months, a year ago. They won't do this. You know what? They would never do something like this. They're too successful. You know what? They would laugh at me if I talked to them about this. And you're literally eliminating everybody in your mind. And here's the thing that you have to understand. You just never know. And it's not your job to make a decision for somebody else. By doing that, you're taking the power away from them and you because you're making the decision for them. I said no over and over and over and over again. Before my situation changed, we lost our business, we lost everything, and I was open-minded enough to take a look at this. And all of the people that said no to me in the beginning, as they started to see that I was serious and that I was still here 3 months, 6 months, and a year later, I would say almost more than half of them, maybe as many as 70% of them came around and eventually said, okay, show me what you're doing. So what you have to understand is that you just never know. I used to have this neighbor who, man, he had every toy possible, boats and razors and all this crazy stuff. And, and he always, beautiful cars. And, you would have never thought this is somebody that would consider doing network marketing. But here's what I knew. I always saw late at night those tow truck drivers coming by when the economy collapsed back in around 2008, and I knew that he was suffering and I knew he was struggling. Looks are always deceiving. You just never know. And the people that are successful, that are entrepreneurs, are always looking for other ways to create additional income stream. So the reality is you have one job, and it's to notify people and invite them to take a look at what we're doing, give them enough information so that they can make a well-informed decision whether or not it's a good fit. I love the approach of just saying, hey, listen, for every 10 people that I show this to, 3 say yes, 7 say no. Doesn't matter to me which side that you fall on, but I really want to get your opinion on this. You guys, you gotta get serious right now. Now is the time. I'm telling you, now. I mean, it sounds cliche, and you might have heard this before. But if I could take what I know about the opportunity that we're being given right now, I've spent 9 years pushing a rock up the hill. 9 years. I've always been the guy that goes to companies and companies come to me and we help them launch and create the systems and the excitement and the momentum, and we get that company, and it's hard. You're pushing the rock up the hill. Guys, we are at a point where we are going to be able to push the rock down the hill because the momentum is here. We have the most powerful product story in the world. On June 1st, we're going to go live with it. And I can promise you that lives will be changed here. You just have to make the decision if you're going to be here a year from now when you go through that mucky period in time. And you might not, but you got to prepare yourself mentally for it. But I'm telling you, I said it the other day when I was up in Canada, in Toronto, the windows of opportunity in this industry don't open very often. They don't stay open very long, but when they're open, John Maxwell talks about the law of momentum. He refers to it as the great exaggerator. When momentum is happening, it amplifies everything. It amplifies everything. I've seen semi-average networkers go on to become millionaires in this company that we are a part of, as well as many other companies, as a result of just being in the right place at the right time. Now, it required effort, but would they been able to do that same thing in another company that wasn't at that time, at that moment? No. And I firmly believe that we have one of those opportunities here. It absolutely gives me the chills thinking about it. So who are you going to invite to come with you? It should be everyone. It should be everybody. Guys, you want to reach out to the people that have told you no. You want to reach out to the people that you've been in business with in the past. You want to knock on their door, tap them on the shoulder, whatever it is, and say, listen, I've got something very, very big that's happening right now. For every 10 people I show it to, 3 say yes, 7 say no, doesn't matter where you fall. But I have to make sure that I tell you about this. Why? Because the last thing that I want is for you to come back to me 6 months from now, a year from now, and say, why did you not tell me about this? And sit down with them. Help them to see the vision. Focus on your why, your vision, why you're here. Just like the beginning of the presentation tonight, where we were talking about my mentor and his story. It wasn't the facts about the company. It wasn't the facts about the products that connected with people. It's your why. That's the most powerful thing that you have, is why you are here, because that's what people will relate to. 8 out of 10 people want to own their own business. They don't know how. Almost 8 out of 10 people live paycheck to paycheck. 72% hate what they do for a living. Guys, we have the golden goose. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is exactly that. The golden goose. If you knew what you had in your hands, if you truly understood the opportunity that each and every one of you have, you wouldn't sleep. You would run hard for the next 2 years so that you could live the rest of your life the best of your life. You would run hard for 2 years, sacrifice, give up your weekends, if you truly understood this opportunity and what is before us. If you truly valued this opportunity, you wouldn't take it for granted. You wouldn't order the minimum amount of products. You would maximize the compensation plan. You'd have the most amount of products that you can because you understand that your product outflow controls your cash inflow. You would treat this like a business every day, no matter if you only have 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. You would know when that time is, it would be planned out, and you would have a daily plan during that 20 minutes or that hour of who you're going to call, who you're going to follow up with, who you're going to send samples out to, what three-way calls you're going to do, and what do you have to promote. And you would do it every single day. And I'm telling you, if you can just understand that you have the golden goose, and here's the key, act like it. So many of us tiptoe around this business. We tiptoe around like, we're afraid, and what are people going to think about us? And we tiptoe around, and we're like secret agent network marketers. And here's the thing, you have what people are looking for. You have the golden goose. You don't need to be ashamed. You need to be proud of what it is that you are a part of. You are a part of a team and a community that provides the best mentorship in this industry. There are millions of networkers that are going from company to company, desperately seeking true mentorship. You have it. Go tell people about it, because that's what people are looking for. Tell people why you're here. Tell people, share your heart. Tell them that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You don't feel well anymore, or you're tired of going to a job that you hate. You're tired of having, cutbacks at work. You're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and hating a boss and driving to work every day. And you know what? You're doing something about it. And you know what? You know that it's not going to happen overnight, but you've surrounded yourself with some incredible people. And you know what? Every 10 people that you show it to, 3 say yes, 7 say no. And it doesn't matter what you tell me, but I'm doing this, and here's why. And I promise you, if you do it with conviction, you do it with heart, and you do it from a place of posture, you come from a place of, listen, I have the golden goose and I know it. And whether you see it or not, it's totally okay with me. But I want you to understand something. This ship is sailing, and you know what? It's up to you to decide to get on it. And it doesn't matter to me whether you do or you don't, but I want you to understand something. This ship, it's going to financial freedom. And it's just, I wanted to make sure that you knew it, that you knew what we were doing. Value your time and value your opportunity. Because when you value your time and you value your opportunity, others will too. One of the biggest objections, people always tell me, it's funny, I'll go into different towns and they'll say, well, Travis, in this town, people are really suffering. People are really hurting. These people, they're only 20. They can't afford $500 packs. I hear that all the time. You know what that is? I'm just going to be straight with you. It's a belief issue. It's a belief issue in yourself. Because you know why? Because if any one of those 20-year-olds or any one of those towns that I was in, if I took my Mercedes keys and put them on the table and said, hey, listen, you can come up with $1,000 in the next 24 hours. This AMG is yours. Every one of them would come there with $1,000. Why? Because they value it. You have to value what you offer. And when you start valuing it, others will too. Guys, $500, $1,000. This industry changed my life for $1,000. I borrowed it. I didn't have it. But I saw the vision and I saw the dream. And it's your job to be the dream merchant and help people see the value. And it's not trying to explain a company or an opportunity or products. The value is based on taking somebody from where they are to where it is that they want to go. So how do you do that? You ask questions. You get to know what's in their head. You get to know what's making them unhappy. Are you happy? Do you have a plan in place to give you everything you want in life? If not, would you like to take a look at one? But you have to value what it is that you have. One of my favorite things, I'll close with this, one of my favorite things is actually to build in international markets. Places like, I've been in Manila and Cebu and Iloilo and Davao City in the Philippines, and I've been in Peru and Singapore and a lot of these markets. And some of these places that I've been in, people, 10 or 12 people, they all live in the same house because they can't afford it. So they all live. It's uncommon for children and their parents and then their grandparents and even the great-grandparents to all live together. And their average wage, I met with a guy in Peru last time I was here whose average wage is $40 a week. And they don't hesitate to come up with the money to join an opportunity. And you know why? It's because they see that this can transform their life. They see it, they don't take it for granted, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. My question to you is, are you willing to do whatever it takes? because this industry can absolutely change your life. So I want to say thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. And on behalf of Lisa and Curtis, again, they send their love and want you to know that they're already we're working on a day where we can get them back on in the future here. But guys, it's go time. It's absolutely go time. And it's time to go out and change the world. And I'm glad to be a part of your dream and your vision. And I just want to say again, thank you for your trust. You guys have an outstanding evening and take care.